Welcome to the Faith and Money Podcast, where listeners are invited to explore the captivating intersection of faith and finances. Leading the way are two remarkable hosts, Keith Conley, President of True Legacy Financial Planning, and Crystal Wampler, President of Can Ethics. Faith and Money explores a diverse array of financial topics, always placing Christ at the center of our discussions. From the basics of budgeting and investing to the transformative power of charitable giving and the dynamics of entrepreneurship, we explore it all. Keith and Crystal invite guests who are thought leaders, financial experts, and individuals who have successfully integrated faith and finances, offering practical tools and inspiring stories to guide you on your own path. If you find the Faith and Money podcast valuable and entertaining, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and your rating will help us reach more people, empowering them to align their faith and finances. Now, without any further delay, here's Keith and Crystal.
Welcome to the Faith and Money podcast. This is your host, Keith Conley, joined by my famous co-host, Crystal Wampler. Crystal, it's been a while since you and I talked. How's it life?
Life is going fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm much happier now that you're back from vacation. How was vacation?
Oh man, it was so nice. Just spent time with the kids and the wife, and no cell phone reception, playing in the creek and just living the dream.
Did you take your shoes off?
Oh yeah, but I wore sandals in the creek because it's a world-class trout fishing stream, and I didn't, the idea of getting a hook in my foot just didn't really sound too appealing.
No, I'd have to agree with you. It doesn't sound too appealing at all, but I would love to get into a stream and play around and take my shoes off, and those streams are pretty darn cold though.
It was pretty cool, but what we've done is over the years we keep building up a rock wall to dam up the creek so that the water is a little bit deeper and a little bit more refreshing, and then we create the chute for the kayakers to go through. The Lord is just so good, and we've had this property for a long time, and well, at least we've had property in the area for a long time. This property has been in the family for probably about a decade and a half, and the Lord is just continuing to mold my vision for the business, for the generational wealth planning. And I'm wondering if maybe the Lord would just have us to do our generational wealth planning seminars at this house. I've been talking to my dad about maybe buying the 8 acres next door to build our compound. So it was just a great time. It's a special place to my family. My girls love it. My wife loves it. My parents love it. And it's just a wonderful place.
That's wonderful. I'm excited for you. I know you're going to do it. I have faith in you.
Thanks. Yeah. So today we have a very special guest, Chris Anderson. How's it going, Chris?
It's going great. Thanks to you both for having me on.
Yeah. Crystal, why don't you go ahead and introduce Chris to our audience?
Absolutely. I'm super excited about this guest. He is a fellow Midwest baby coming from Indiana, which is my home state. And I'm so excited. So let me go ahead and kick off his bio for y'all. Chris Anderson is the CEO and founder of Elevate Media Group, a video content agency. Chris has a background in marketing and entrepreneurship and has built Elevate Media Group into a successful 6-figure company starting from zero during the pandemic. Chris and his team focus on helping businesses grow through video podcasting and content creation. Chris is also the host of the Elevate Media podcast, where he interviews successful entrepreneurs and industry experts to share their insights and experiences with listeners. Through his podcast, Chris aims to help his audience learn from the successes and failures of others and apply those lessons to their businesses. The show has reached the ranks of the top 2% globally listened to and has charted in the top 25 entrepreneurship and top 50 for marketing. Chris is passionate about entrepreneurship and helping others achieve their goals. He is dedicated to staying up to date with the latest trends and technologies in video podcasting and uses his knowledge to help his clients succeed. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks again for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Chris, you're doing a lot of video podcasting, or what do they call it? Vlogs or vlogcasting. What do they call the video podcasting? It's not just podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, video podcasting is kind of what we use. Some people use vlog. So yeah, either way.
Yeah, and judging from your background, it seems like you're a pretty big Captain America guy.
Yeah, just a little bit. I got that shield up there. A lot of people, it's funny. A lot of people say, is this a real background behind you, or is it like a green screen thing? It is. No, it's my actual shield up there I got. So
Very good. And is that baseball photos behind you as well?
no, that's actually a photo that is my boys are in each of the photos holding up a D, then an A, then a D. It was a Father's Day gift. So it spells out dad up there. Yeah. No baseball here.
How many boys?
We got 2.
Excellent.
Yep. About to be 2 years old and then coming up on 3.5 months.
Wow. So no sleep for Chris.
No, Lord's blesses, man. They've been sleeping through the night for, I think after a month old, both of them slept through the night. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we got real lucky on both of them doing that. It's been good. So
yeah. So tell us, how did you get into professional podcasting?
Yeah. So I mean, I could tell you all the ins and outs, but 2019 I started my podcast, and it's actually a different name when I started it because I had a different idea of what I wanted to do, but I wanted to start one for the kind of same premise of just like learning from others. When I interview people, I just wanted to learn from them and wanted to share that. And I'd seen Lewis Howes. If you know Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness podcast, if you don't, check it out. It's amazing. He's been doing it for, I think, coming up on a decade now. And that's what, sparked the fire under me to start a podcast. And I started with video from the beginning. And I just wanted to learn how to grow a business, build a business, and share it with others. And that's kind of the ultimate thing. I just kind of learned as I went.
That's amazing. Growing a business, sharing it, and then teaching it. That's a lot. We need more of you in this world for sure. I'm interested to know about your faith journey. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, going back, I grew up in a faith-filled household, great household, 2 loving parents, nothing, crazy happening, which is good. Thankful for that. But still always, for some reason, didn't, whether it be just little things that happened throughout the journey, as I grew into, middle school, high school, started feeling a lot of, you hear a lot of depression, anxiety type things, but really low self-worth, and didn't really know my place in the world of things of that nature. And that translation over to college, and I went to private Christian school, but that was the darkest time of my life in the especially first year, even first couple of years at college. And, removing myself from high school and all the things I was a part of. I was a soccer player. I was a drama kid. I was in choir. I had all these titles and labels and all these friends, but then having that all taken away, going to college, who was I, and didn't know my self-worth very much. And so just got into the dark, mindset of, maybe it doesn't matter if I'm here. Maybe there's no purpose for me. Maybe it'd be better if I wasn't here. And to really battle through that. But God brought me to Indiana Wesleyan for a reason, and that was to, find mentors and the help that I needed through counseling, and really started to heal my heart there. To see my worth was outside of any titles and anything that the world has to offer, and so it was a big turn and shift in my heart and my faith journey, and really started to dig more and more into it. Obviously, everyone has their struggles. Everyone has, their imperfections along the way, but we try to do our best. But college was a turning point of really seeing who I was in Christ and not in the world. And And I think it started to plant seeds of, you're meant for something bigger. He's got you here for something bigger. And, fast forward now to 2019, when I was like, yeah, there's something bigger coming. And that's kind of when the wheels started turning of the podcasting and potential business that he had laid on my heart. So.
Right.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And just the episode that we released yesterday, I was talking with Robert and Kaylee Fukui about their marriage and business coaching, and one of the things that we pointed out in that episode was that we all have multiple roles, and sometimes it makes sense just to kind of write them all down. Just jog your memory. Who am I? Well, I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a church member. I'm a business owner. I'm all of these things, and sometimes we lose sight of that, especially men, and myself included. I'm definitely in this boat. I tend to find so much of my identity in what I do. I'm that financial planner. I'm that business owner, and if I'm not doing that, then I'm not really doing anything important. Well, that's not true.
Right.
I'm the father playing in the creek with his kids, squirting them with squirt guns, and doing things that are just as important, if not more important, than being a business owner. And so I appreciate your journey in that. How did you elevate your brand to the top 2% globally listened to shows?
Yeah. So Elevate Media Group. So I know it probably said elevate your brand in our communication, but had to rebrand and things because of trademark stuff. So if you're starting a business, look at the trademarks before you go down a road of a title. It's crazy. But yeah, so Elevate Media Group, like I mentioned when I started, the podcast actually was called Pencil Leadership. And so I had worked to grown that and then transitioned over to Elevate Media Group, or the Elevate Media Podcast, in 2021 to go all in on that. But the growth, really came from just trying to do the very best, trying to ask good questions, trying to get good content out there for people to learn from, and then just connecting and networking with others, being on other shows, and just, giving that value. At that time, I didn't really have anything to ask from anyone, just putting it out there. So hopefully someone could learn and someone could maybe find something that could change their life positively or their business for a positive. And so I just started doing that, and I just stuck with it. And I just continued to connect with people and share about it and put in the work to get it to that level. And then as it went on, I improved sound, I improved lighting, I improved cameras. And that just all happened kind of along the way.
That is really interesting. How do you know what kind of content to, bring into your podcast? How do you choose that?
Yeah. And that's something, we discuss with clients sometimes is, how narrow are they on their topic with their show? Mine, I would say, is fairly broad. I'm trying to help coaches and agency owners grow through the content. So it's a little bit focused, but could you be even more focused? And so when you know who you're speaking to, at least, even for my show, that's going to open up the door to, bringing on different guests or having different topics, because you're going to know what your audience needs or wants or is seeking. So yeah, that's the big thing is that market research of knowing who your audience is really helps you, choose the content and what to talk about.
Niching down, that generally helps with improving, who you're talking to and figuring that all out and building a community, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we've even niched down even more, like just this year, I think. Time flies, but like to putting even more content out, me solely, like individual episodes that I speak specifically on about, my journey of growing my business, and then video podcasts specifically. So basically we've narrowed it down even to, even more to coaches and agency owners who are trying to grow their business using video content. And so it's like, even we're trying to get even farther down even now still. So
That's super important.
yeah.
We can't be everything to everybody.
Right.
And sometimes it just makes sense to create a profile of who it is that you want to serve, and what their problems are that you need to solve, and how, and then address those problems.
Mm.
Here at Faith and Money, we're very focused on, the biblical aspect of money, wealth, and generosity. There tends to be that there's two extremes. Either God wants us healthy and wealthy and rich, the prosperity gospel, but the equally dangerous extreme of God values poverty, and neither are true, and neither are biblical. And so, what we have loved doing is talking to people all across the nation about what it means to honor the Lord with their wealth. And so I love that focus of niching down. Why is podcasting the way for businesses to elevate going into the future?
Yeah, podcasting, and specifically even video podcasting is a really crucial piece, just because where we are, now with technology, with social media, with AI, even the video content piece through video podcasts are going to be more and more prevalent and needed within brands, no matter the size, because people are going to start, and they do now, but they're going to start wanting it even more, is that human, interaction. And online, socially, the best way to have that is through watching someone on video, because that's the closest you can get. So you can see their mannerisms, you can see their body language, you can see, their location, a little bit about their personality, and it's going to build that trust better with your brand and your audience having that video piece with it, versus someone who's just doing, maybe static posts or pictures, even, because there's that movement. So yeah, it's needed now more than ever, and it's going to just continue to be a crucial piece, because with AI, now you have people doing avatars and fake people and things like that. So again, right now, at least, you can still tell the difference for the most part between, a video avatar and a real video of a real person. So having that differentiation between that allows you, again, to build that trust, and that's where it kind of ultimately lies.
I get that, but from my perspective, and I'm not arguing with you, I'm just trying to think through.
Argue with me, it's all right, we can do it.
Let's debate. I listen to podcasts when I'm walking my dog and when I'm in the car.
Yep.
So the last time I checked, they kind of discourage you watching videos when you're on the freeway.
Yeah. No, this is a great point. I understand what you're saying, and that's why you need both. And that's the beauty of it. You record a video, you already have the audio, and you can edit it all the same, and then you just put it on their respective platforms. But last time I checked, YouTube pays out a lot more than podcast platforms do organically as you grow. And so, why not just put it out there and let it grow and get to the point where it's making you money just because of the views? Because if you stay consistent, if you continue to innovate and improve, you just got to do it long enough. So I definitely understand there's a time and place for just audio. Some people just prefer audio, but YouTube is the biggest search engine in the world, and it's video. And so I think that's why you need to have both pieces. And why not? If you're recording one, you can have both.
When you say innovate and improve, how can you give me examples of that?
Yeah. So, that's as simple as just improving audio, improving your setup, improving, the content you're putting out there, improving how you talk on camera. Those are all things you can do and get better along the way. My first episodes were terrible. They were bad. They sounded bad. They looked bad. I think I said, or like every other word. So those are all things you can improve upon. You can improve, your community. You can improve how you connect with them. you can innovate by using tools that are now out there and available to decrease the time with your edits. If you have the means, you can outsource an agency like Elevate, but you can innovate in that way to get more time back. So then you can serve your audience even more. You can innovate through, live streamings and innovation with video podcasting that you could try. So there's a lot out there, and there's going to continue to be, especially with AI and technology, of what can be done for sure.
A lot of the businesses that I'm serving are these established businesses. They're not necessarily, a coaching business. I'm working with one business that manufactures, they engineer and manufacture seeds. I have another business that I'm working with that does computer chips. I have medical providers, and so podcasting can fit those kinds of businesses as well, can it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's nice because a lot of them have the means and the ability to put a little bit behind it, if they can see the value. But yeah, the value's there. I mean, unless they don't want to grow and be known even more and grow a bigger audience and make more money, then maybe they don't want to do it. But there's definitely a place for it, because again, it connects your brand, especially a bigger brand that doesn't necessarily have maybe a spokesperson that people know. That connection right there is going to cut through everything else and start building, that trust with the audience a lot more. And it's going to just continue to help them to elevate what they're doing.
Right. In a world where there's education available at our fingertips on just about anything,
mm-hmm.
It's really important that we build those personal connections with our audience and with our ideal clients, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely needed.
Well, you can show personable, you're being transparent, you can show how ethical you are. People like the investors that I talk to that are looking to invest in companies, they're like, we see deals come across our desk all the time, but we want to know who are the people behind these deals. How what are they like? Are they good people? Have they done it before? And so I think the same goes with people in businesses. There's tons of doctors, there's tons of financial planners, but are you willing to put yourself on the line and put yourself out there and let the cookie crumble wherever it falls?
Yeah.
I do a podcast every Friday, and it's live streamed across multiple platforms. It's called the Crypto Canniverse Show, and I haven't edited anything as of yet. It's just all just very raw, transparent, and people call me and they appreciate it. They appreciate that it's very you don't have to guess who I am. You see it right there on the screen. Yep. And there's a lot of honesty to that. And so I really appreciate the fact that you're trying to, help business owners grow by putting themselves out there and getting their personality to be known and who they are, because not everyone is for everyone, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
if you go look at my YouTube comments on some of my clips, I'm not for a lot of the people who comment on there, which is a funny thing. The negativity speaks a lot louder on these platforms than the positive. So you're going to get more negative than positive. And it's funny, like looking at those comments, like I like to see the comments come in that are negative. Because one, it gives me an opportunity to respond in kindness or in humor, and just kind of let it, wash off my back. But it also helps me in the algorithm. So, people are interacting one way or the other. So I don't mind. I got one today and I just put a smile on my face and say, hey, something's working, because if you don't have people against what you're saying, or for it, like you're not picking a side really. So
interesting. So, this podcast is listened to primarily by faith-based business owners and ministry leaders. And you are a man who is in business. You're a Christian man. And so what kind of specific biblical or Christian teachings have you found applicable to entrepreneurship and financial success?
It's a great question. There are quite a few. I always go back to Psalm 23. That's always kind of been my verse. Although I walk through a valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil. God, entrepreneurship, you go through a lot of valleys. You go through a lot of darkness, a lot of hard things that can just be really discouraging and lonely. You have the peaks, you have some peaks too, but you get in those valleys, and it just reminds me, like, not going to worry about it. He's got me. He's going to lead me to where I need to go and into safety. And that one I go back to a lot. And another one I go to, it's not necessarily a Bible verse, and I remember this growing up, and it's probably what's helped me through the most. And it was in the most random spot. It was in. So back in the day, if you're listening to this and you're young, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have things like that. So when you went to the restroom, you're reading the labels on stuff, or you're doing whatever. In front of me in our bathroom when I was a kid, my mom had hung up on the wall the poem, or the words of footprints in the sand.
Yes, I knew you were going there. I knew it. I knew it.
Every time I'd go in there, I would read that thing over and over and over. And it's the story is, or the saying is, like, you're walking down the beach with Jesus, and there's two sets of footprints, and then all of a sudden there's one, and you look and say, God, like, why'd you leave me? Like, when there's only one set of footprints, why'd you leave me? And he's like, I didn't leave you. That's when I carried you. And I always go back to that too. Like, he's going to carry us. When times get rough, he's there to carry it. And now being a dad, it gets me a little emotional thinking about, like, when my kid falls, he just fell yesterday, and, he cries. He's fine. But he starts crying, and, I picked him up, and he just kind of wrapped his arm around me. He tucked his head on my shoulder, and, kind of stopped crying. It's like, that is it. Like, we just have to call to him, and he'll carry us. And, being a dad, if you're not a parent, it really opens your eyes to a lot of that stuff, how God sees us. And it's, so I go back to those a lot. Yeah.
Yesterday, I had taken my 12-year-old daughter for a little coffee date, and we did, some Bible study and discipleship. And I don't know if either of you have ever heard of the Heidelberg Catechism. I guarantee you some of my listeners have. The Heidelberg Catechism is this just old, Reformed, Protestant catechism. And the first question of the catechism is just so beautiful. What is your only comfort in life and in death? And that's what my daughter and I meditated on yesterday. And the whole point was, why do we need comfort, and what do we need comfort from? And the beginning of the answer of that first question is that I, in life and in death, am not my own. And so we talked about, why we need to be comforted in this life, because of our sin and misery, because of, horrible things that happen in this world, whether it's to us personally or just, bad things we see happening, but also that, we belong to our faithful Savior, Jesus Christ. And he is walking with us and protecting us, so that not even the hair of our head can fall without God's knowledge and his fatherly care over us. And the Christian life recognizes that life isn't like a box of chocolates, or it is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. To quote Forrest Gump. And the thing I love about business is that business is focused on fixing a problem. The doctor is fixing the problem of health. The architect is fixing the problem of knowing how to design a building or a home. And the podcaster is helping the problem of brand awareness, so that people can get out their products and services. And it's a very Christian thing to do, to love our neighbors through serving of our businesses. So I love your answer, Chris. Great stuff.
Yeah, and you made me think, reference in the movie. So my church does a series called At the Movies, where they show clips from different movie, or from a movie during the service, and then they do like a green screen type thing, and the pastor will come and talk about the part of the movie and correlate it to scripture. And, I was thinking kind of like with that and biblical stuff in business, one of those movies they did was Lion King, and it correlates over to business and family. But it was the moment where Simba went to the elephant graveyard and he's getting attacked by hyenas, and his dad finds out, and his dad comes and rescues him. He hops in there, he does what's necessary. He probably got a scratch or two trying to fight those guys off, but he roared, he let him know like he was the boss. So fast forward, now Simba thinks he's about to get reprimanded and yelled at on the hill. His dad's sitting up there. So he walks up there. His dad just kind of tells him a story, kind of like what Jesus does, to get a point across. But he doesn't yell at him. He doesn't do anything harsh. He said, I was scared for the first time in my life to lose you.
Right.
And he showed grace. There was a moment where he was the lion, and he was intense and he was strong and he was, he stood up to what had to be done and, fight. But then he was that gentle, grace-filled father at that moment as well, instead of the harsh, harshness that he could have been. I think about it as a father, obviously, but in business, like there are moments where you deal with people, you deal with clients, you deal with people in your network, and you have to choose like which path in the timing and being able to navigate that. And I think it goes back to, again, just learning from Jesus and how he responded to things of grace a lot of the times because of the grace we're given.
Which brings up some interesting questions, because what I've seen is this sense of community within the Christian community, that to be, it's bad to self-promote. It's bad to, because it shows pride and greed. And what are some tips on how Christian business owners can communicate their value to prospects in a way that would be godly, and how can they do that through podcasting?
Yeah. So like, this is funny you asked that. So this is something I really dealt with, growing my business, and something still that I have to work on is actually sharing the good stuff that I've done and have been able to do. And it's because of that. Like, I don't want to sound conceited or, I want to be humble, but I've been working on, how do I share our successes? How do I share, what God has done without coming off wrong? And I try not to worry about it. I try to just share and be excited and be happy because we're helping people.
Right.
And so sharing that. And then whenever I get the moment, throw in, plant that seed of like, yeah, but this, this wasn't me. My faith is a big part of it, and God's been on this journey leading me. And, but yeah, I think, I don't know where it started. I don't know, why people feel so bad talking about the good they do. Because it gives you the opportunity to reflect it back on him, who allows you to do that good stuff. And I as a dad, like when my boy does, whenever he's older, when he does something good, when he's done something good, he'll turn, he'll look. I'm like, dude, great job, buddy. Like, that's awesome. Like, and you get super excited. So like, and then he'll start sharing, like he'll do something, he'll come bring it to you. And like, he'll go show his little brother, and like, he's excited what he's able to do. And I think if we can do it for, obviously God knows our hearts, and we can do it with that humility in our hearts, but to show, what God has used us to be able to do and what he's done through us, I think eventually it points back to him. So.
Yeah, I think you brought up some interesting points. If we're pointing out how we've helped people, we've served them, and how they've benefited from that, and we're good at what we do, we have an obligation to God to love our neighbor while fulfilling our calling.
Yeah.
If I'm a very good doctor, which I'm not, and I have some innovative procedure that I've developed to cure cancer, why wouldn't I be shouting from the rooftops
I've cured cancer.
to get
Yeah.
every cancer patient under my care with that particular kind of cancer
Yeah.
under my care, or to be teaching that to other oncologists? If I'm the best car mechanic and I work on BMWs and I'm no mechanic, I should be saying, hey, I can fix your BMW. I can't fix your Toyota,
Right.
but I know everything there is to know about BMWs.
Yeah.
And if we're not doing those things and we're not putting ourselves out there, our ability to love our neighbor through our service is limited. It's hindered.
Right.
Uh, and so, podcasting is just such a great way to get out our message.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very clear. I turn away some clients. Not everyone is a fit for me.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of how big your account is or how little it is. It's just, are we a fit for what I am doing?
Right.
I've turned away clients, and I've done that in a way that was respectful. And I've said, hey, here's someone else you might have a better success with. And it's not that I'm incapable of working with them. It's just that we're not a match. It's not what I'm looking for. And I'm not able to serve them in a way that would benefit them in a way that maybe another advisor would do.
Right. No, for sure.
And so, I don't think there's any pride in that. It's just that this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
And this is something else that someone is doing. I'm happy to promote other people in my position, because a lot of times, especially with financial advisors, we get very, we don't like other people coming in our territory.
Mm.
You go to every networking meeting and there's 5 financial advisors and there's 7 insurance agents. And we get very territorial. Hey, this is my group. This is my group. And my attitude has just become, you know what? Like, I'm glad you're here. Who are you working with? What is your expertise? Oh, you work with people who have dementia.
Mm.
Awesome. You're a divorce analyst advisor. Awesome. I don't do any of those things. It's not that I would be incapable of doing it, but those things better than I do.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why, it's important to find the avenue that you fit best in. Again, niching down, I think helps. And, there's enough people out there we can all help and we can all grow something. It's just when you focus on competition, you're taking energy away from the clients you have and those that are looking for you. So you miss out.
Right. Yeah. And, what kind of things are you looking forward to growing in the business next?
Yeah, obviously I want to continue to take on as many companies that we can to help with their video podcasting needs because it's a lot of time to edit and get all that content created. So if we can take that off their plate, they can continue to serve and make a difference in their audiences and their market, which I love being, in the back, just kind of working away while these guys and gals are doing amazing stuff. By just, doing the work for them and giving it back so they can put it out there. So obviously we want to continue to do that at the high level that we do it. But we're actually here locally here in Indy looking to do more in-person recordings for people and brands and businesses and get into the bigger scale productions. So, multiple cameras, lights, things of that on set, whether it be commercials, business promos. We've got a couple going and just looking to build that out as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Chris, it's been such a pleasure having you here with us. I enjoy, learning about what you're doing, and I think you're bringing a lot of great value. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
Sure. No, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully someone can take something away from today or it resonates with them and they can, do something different and improve their lives or improve the lives of someone else. But so yeah, guys, if you're listening, share this. We can help more people that way. But yeah, to get in contact with me or find out what we're doing, Instagram is the best. At chris.t.anderson is mine. If you want to specifically reach out to me, I still answer my DMs. So I'd love to take any questions about business, video podcasting, things of that. We have @official Elevate Media on YouTube is our channel. You can see our small thing growing there if you want to be a part of that journey. But other than that, I look forward to connecting with whoever and help however I can. So.
Well, you have some great content there on your YouTube channel. I checked that
Appreciate it.
out. And so, you know, a lot of times we really just need to be getting a little bit of education before we're actually ready to,
Mhm.
make the plunge and hire a consultant like you. So I appreciate the material you're putting out there. And
For
I
sure.
know that, the clients who do work with you are getting a lot of even bigger value than just watching some videos. So, I love the fact that you're putting that out there.
Absolutely.
And as always, thank you to our wonderful listeners here at Faith and Money. Uh, don't forget to reach out to True Legacy Financial Planning. We are on Instagram. Keith Conley, am on LinkedIn, as well as Crystal Wampler. We're both on LinkedIn. You can reach out to us there. Reach out to True Legacy Financial Planning for any of your financial planning needs, insurance or investments, or legacy planning. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give us 5 stars and leave a favorable review. And also, most important, don't forget to share the podcast with a friend and perhaps an enemy too. All right, till next time, God bless.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Faith and Money podcast. But remember, our conversations don't end here. We invite you to continue exploring these fascinating subjects by subscribing to our podcast. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, ensuring that you stay connected to our community of like-minded individuals seeking wisdom and guidance in their financial and spiritual lives. And while you're at it, don't forget to rate and review the Faith and Money podcast. Your feedback not only helps us improve, but it also allows others to discover and benefit from these enriching discussions. Your words have the power to inspire and empower others to embark on their own journeys toward financial well-being and spiritual fulfillment. Lastly, we want to extend a heartfelt invitation to join us for future episodes. We have exciting guests lined up who will share their unique perspectives and experiences. Together, we'll continue to dive deeper, challenge conventions, and uncover hidden truths that can transform our lives for the better.